So, Jarvis, after getting past the referee debacle on Sunday, if you have actually gotten past it, if your ATL sports assessment is done,
Yes.
you can also look at the fact that the Falcons kind of had some other things that low key kept them from winning that game. So, yes, we can point to those last two plays, if you will, but real talk, it's about the fact that they also played out a character. And what we mean by that is the Falcons have really done a great job this year of cleaning up some things that Arthur Smith talked about over and over again in the offseason. Did he not, Jarvis?
Yes, he did.
And literally, and I remember asking him a question about pre-snap penalties. And when I tell you, I saw a vein raise up and pop out. So
Right.
the
As
Falcons,
well it should. Right.
as well as true, the Falcons really took that to heart, and we saw it play out in the first three games. The fourth game, however, Elijah Wilkinson in particular had three by himself. So I think about the fact that the 49ers, very formidable opponent, you have to play a tight game against them. So I wonder if they need to make adjustments, if any, to actually play a clean game against the 49ers, or if it's one of those situations, which I think it may be as well, where you just go back and you say, okay, what was causing Elijah Wilkinson to try to get off the line that quickly, or why weren't they able to play a clean line and at least eliminate that as being the reason for them not moving forward?
You know what? I think it's just a matter. I think it's a combination of both, like you mentioned. When you think
Hmm.
about that particular play, there's something that that's just you just have to work on. That's
Yeah.
something that's all about repetition, like knowing and understanding the
Yeah.
timing of of screens, and knowing that, hey, I cannot go down the field when I have a field that the quarterback hasn't thrown that football just yet, or
Hmm.
Marcus Mariota has to get the ball out quicker, or he
Yeah.
has to get rid of the football quicker. And I think that that's something that we know that, hey, there are some things that Marcus Mariota needs to do better,
Yes,
and that
and
may
can
be
do.
one of them.
Mhm. Yeah.
That has to be one of them, because it's a pattern when it comes to the Falcons getting penalties. Now,
Mhm.
because when you think about getting down to that red zone and you get a penalty, then you backed up, and then you have to throw the football, and then your play sheet shrinks, right? Like, I can't call that run that I was probably going to run on second and goal on the
Mhm.
3 yard on a 3 yard line going
Yeah.
in. I can't
Yeah.
run that on at second and on third and goal, or second and goal, and I'm on the 14 going in. So
Mhm.
things just change, and it's almost kind of like a snowball effect
Yes.
when it comes with the Falcons, because that's why you end up in situations where Young Koo is kicking a field goal much longer than what you would like him to be doing
Oh,
at
yeah.
this moment. And I think that that's something that you don't want to have to do as an offense, because at the end of the day, like, they were 2 for 2 in the red zone. I think
Mhm.
Arthur Smith likes scoring touchdowns. And
Yes.
I think that's what you're going to need going forward, running this style of offense. You're going to have to
Mhm.
put 6 points on the board. And I think that's what they need to do. And when you think about now, and I'm saying this, but the Falcons were the second least, penalized team in the NFL, right behind the Los Angeles Rams. So it's
Mhm.
not like this was a pattern, or this was something that we were used to seeing
Right.
consistently. It was just something. It was kind of like an aberration. And I think that
Mhm.
obviously you got to give credit to Tampa Bay, because they kind of forced that on them
Sure.
by putting that pressure and making sure that Marcus Mariota was uncomfortable in the pocket. So,
Mhm.
but I think that if they, like I said, they're working on the timing of the plays and making sure they're holding their water when they get down into that red zone, like you said, you always talked about that low red zone. Like, you have to be perfect, and
Yeah.
I think that that's not too much to ask when
Right.
you're a team that hasn't been penalized that much in the first place.
Exactly. And if you can keep it clean, then you can find yourself in a situation where you have more opportunities, like we saw with Avery Williams being able to go that 8 yards and take it in for the
Yes,
run, because you can establish the run without penalties. When you get into third and long situations and you're trying to move the chains 10 yards, 15 yards sometimes, because you keep backing yourself up, that makes it more difficult for what has now become a first run offense to actually execute. So when
right.
we look forward to the 49ers, and we know that's one of the top defenses in the entire league, and you think about what the Falcons were still able to do, it was decent. But when you
Right.
pull the numbers kind of back, the average for yards per carry was good
Yeah.
because you had Caleb Huntley over 4. and you had Tyler Algier right there at
Right
4
for it. Yep.
yards of carry.
Mm-hmm.
But the numbers themselves, when you dig down, is a little bit more challenging because they didn't quite get over the 100-yard mark as a collective. So I'm thinking about that, like, wonder if people are starting to figure out, okay, this is a first run type of offense. We got something for you. And if that's so, then let's just get to a point in place where maybe we do something like we'll talk about hopefully in a moment, or we'll bring it back to you guys tomorrow. Maybe we'll do something like work on this week, giving our running backs an opportunity to become playmakers as pass catchers.
Yeah, and I think that that's essentially what they did, right? In the second half, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. When you talk about getting the ball out of hand, out of Marcus's hand really quickly, so he doesn't have to sit back there and say, "Hey, oh, here's my first read, not there. Okay, then my second read, oh, not there. Oh, here's my check down." No,
Yes,
that's not ideal for the
yeah,
team
it's
and
not
the
his
way
game.
the quarterback. That's not his game at all. So I think that because Arthur Smith talked about this coming into this game. He knew that Todd Bowles was going to send pressure. And I even made a comment during the game. I tweeted out, I was just like, why is Antoine Winfield making tackles in the backfield 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage? Like if the safety is sitting up there chilling like that, hey man,
Yes,
that means
been a
something
long
is
day.
open deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like leave it an extra blocker so you can doggone see if you can doggone take advantage of that or exploit that, because and you saw that a little bit when they on that screen pass to Cardell Hodge, because literally, he had a straight lane to the end zone if he would have caught
Yeah.
the football. And I think
Yeah.
that those are the adjustments that you saw Arthur Smith make. So
Mm-hmm.
the teams can be aware of that, because whatever you put on film, teams are going to try. Because I actually saw something on film in like the first couple of games. I think it was against the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running like a counter play where the backside guard and tackle were getting up and coming around and everything, and Adio Gadeji looked like he didn't want now they're that. And guess what? Teams, Rams, the Seahawks, everybody, they start running the same thing, because what you
Yes.
put on film, people are going to emulate, especially if
Mm-hmm.
it's successful. So I think that the Falcons have to be cognizant of teams having the safeties walk up and getting involved in the run game. And I think Arthur
Mm-hmm.
Smith, I believe wholeheartedly that he's going
Mm-hmm.
to have a counter for that, because
Yeah, I think
you
so.
have to be ready for that. You have to be ready for that when it comes to the NFL, because it's a
Yeah.
copycat league. Whatever you put out on film, teams are going to try to find it and exploit it.
Indeed, they will. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on the defensive side, because that same walking up, that the secondary walking up those corners, those safeties to the line of scrimmage and being ready to make sure that those running backs did not get to the second level last week, that could actually prove very, very powerful for Debo Samuels. But if you guys want to hear a little bit more about that, let's do it this way. Leave us some comments on your thoughts on what the Falcons can do to actually stop Debo, or we'll say contain Debo Samuels, and we'll talk about it from your perspective and ours tomorrow. But today, we got to tell you guys about something that'll get you through. Now, listen, we know in Atlanta, nobody really needs an energy boost right now. Everybody is on one in this city, whether you're on one because the Braves are playing game number one in the NLDS, or you're on one because you're excited that the Hawks shored up a couple more players in Onyeka Okongwu and Jalen Johnson, or you are excited because you know what? Your Falcons, they're not going to stand for it. Your Falcons are going to come back and do the darn thing. Maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you're somebody who stayed up last night worried about the outcome of game one of this NLDS. If that's you, you need a Built Bar. You
Yes.
need a chocolate puff Built Bar, because you know what? That is something that you can take as a snack anywhere you go, any time of the day, and it's not going to weigh you down, because we're talking only 160 calories. So that's not something that you have to burn off, even if you get frustrated during the course of the Braves game, right? Also, you're getting 15 grams of protein. So that's building you up and giving you the good while it's 100% real chocolate. Here's what I like, guys. You can also watch that Braves game, kick back, and as they're winning game one, you can enjoy your Built Bar as I don't know, maybe a gift to yourself, right? Maybe a
Yes.
little treat to yourself. If you want to know more about Built Bars, go to builtbar.com, and you can put in the code locked on your first order to get yourself a discount. This is one of the premier chocolate bars. I know I'm not a chocolate person and I like it, the puffs. And Jarvis likes it as well. He is a little bit more of a chocolate person. So take it from him that it is indeed a good look if you are a chocolatier. Again, that is builtbar.com. Locked on is your code. Get your discount right now.